Hi and welcome back. Okay, starting off the detailed excavation. I'm going to bring the camera over in a minute, but basically the whole area is now cleared. Firewood's all chopped up. A lot of the stuff's at the tip. I've still got some tin over there. There's some old roofing material which I'll use for edge boards of the lost formwork. Not the external side, that's going to be a little bit more of an off-form finish. So I'm just going to walk around the job site with this and just let you know what's going to be happening in the next couple of days. This is the front of the house, and the front side of the shed will be here, so 7 meters from there to that peg just over there and back down to this point just down here. This is the lowest point. Down here across to the other side. Over there where the mower is. Now that's my access down the driveway to the existing Sonex Shed, which is down there at the moment. And so what I've got to do this morning, prior to the excavator arriving tomorrow, is that I'm going to just take out this very thin path line here all the way back to this corner here, and then attempt to take out just the front of this old toilet here, where that yellow line is the back side of the shed. That line going this way is where there's a pier, so I've got to take the slab completely out. I'll probably be leaving this, it's very, very strong, and it's only a bridging footing anyway, so what I mean by that, or a floating slab, what I mean by that is between that pier and that pier over there, the thickened edge beam of the concrete is just loads over these two piers, and then a third over that side. It's just a thickened edge that comes down, and you know, the basic weight of the shed is sitting on these piers anyway, and it's just a floating slab, or a raft slab which we call it, for the cars to drive on. And I've got a fairly good base up there, so I might get started on this and see how I go in the next couple of hours. Okay, I've taken out that section of paving. Came out really easily. I don't know what's probably taken me about an hour, I guess. Plus I've stacked the stone. I'll just move the camera around in a second. We'll have a bit of a look what's going on. Okay, I've just stacked the stone here. What'll happen here is that I'll fill this in with a loose sand mix, so like a compactable sand, like a paving sand, and that'll fill in any of the voids, and then the rest of the level up to that point there where the supervisor Bailey is standing now will be the underside of the slab, and then it steps down to the thickened edge footing along there. So that's basically it. Sorry about the shadow, the sun's directly behind me at the moment. And that's ready now for excavator through here, nice and simple. A 450 wide bucket from that peg to that edge of that slab all the way through to that yellow line there, and then a 450 bucket from here all the way through to that peg there, and then we simply lay the footing on top of this. I've got to take out that red slab here from that yellow line backwards, remove those two trees, take out those 4 or 6 or 4 or 5 pavers there, and when the excavator comes tomorrow, he knocks over this and starts digging the footings, and then drill the piers for the drill the piles for the piers, pile holes for the piers. That'll do. All right, I'll carry on and see how I go in about another hour. Hi and welcome back. Excavator is basically done on the start of the detailed excavation, which was just basically just going around the perimeter of the building, being this green line now. I've brought the profiles in closer. So 7 meters, 7 meters, 7 meters and 7 meters back up, just roughly or on or around about the 450 millimeter bucket size, which is the excavator's bucket. From now, I've got to detail this up even further, having another bite of the cherries to get it better and better and better each time. So what's got to happen is that I'll be using the slab that you'll see over here, which is the old 100-year-old shed that's just recently been knocked down, as the underside of the concrete. So the slab thickness needs to be around about 130 millimeters. I'm going to allow 150 plus what we call a 50 millimeter sand binding, so 200 millimeters above that slab, which will be roughly around about here. So everywhere from here is my level all the way around, as you can see. So by the time I get down the far end, you know, we're going to be around about 1 meter and 200, you know, which is the old 4 foot thick, 4 foot side edge beam. Now unfortunately you have to do that. This ground falls away, there's nothing I can do about that. Over this side it'll just be a small edge beam, maybe around about 600 deep, but it's going to be pretty close to 2 times or maybe 2 times plus more to get that thickness of the edge. So inside this line here will be what we call lost formwork, which is just made up of anything that I can get. So bits of old tin braced off, then we backfill against this line. The height of this lost formwork as a guide will be the basically the underside of that, or the top side of that slab. So that's my guide for the lost formwork. And then once I get the perimeter all the way, sorry, the internal part of the lost formwork done, it's backfill, compact it, hose it in, get rid of all the voids, and then we can start laying the steel. So the steel will go on the 2 edge beams either side, the rear edge beam and the front thickened edge beam. Now the difference is the sides, so I have said this before, but the sides, so basically here, halfway and down, plus the other side, we'll have a 450 millimeter core drill down into the ground to get right down to really good hard clay. That's basically our piles or piers, and then our beam laid on top of this. So we've got a beam along here with 3 piles that side. It's ain't going anywhere, and plus 1 at the back. So set this out today. It's late in the day. I've been down to the hardware to get some more materials, so we might just flip the camera around and we'll have a quick walk around the site. Starting here, you'll see now the edge beam is down here, so the top side of the slab down and back up again. This side, it's a bit rough at the moment, but it will tidy up. This was the worst, or not so much the worst place down here. It's not too bad down the back. Now I've taken out that section of really weak concrete there. I'll just step over here for a second. You'll see a yellow mark here. That's where a pile will go down. There'll be a pile up there and one behind me. This becomes a full edge beam as well, even though it's got basically steps in the concrete. Now you can sort of see up around about here. So I'm at the underside of the slab now, so it's going to be quite even through there. It's going to be around about 300, maybe 500 deep for the edge, for the beam. Here's going to be around about 750 deep, and where I'm kneeling at the moment is going to be around about 12 to 1300 deep. This side was extremely bad with tree roots. It had the old power going down for the shed, an old drainage line, so it's pretty poor down here. So I'm going to be fairly thankful to get an edge beam through here compared to what it was. So that's where I'm at today. I will do some more tomorrow, and within about 3 or 4 days we should be starting to look like a slab. But you can get the gist of the idea now. So if I want my tail of the Sonex is around about here, let's say, it's going to be going fairly well into the middle of the shed. So if we look about here, I reckon that will be around about the nose of the Sonex, with all that room behind, plenty of room for each side of the wings, and I've still got all that to the front of the shed. So once the slab's down, we'll have a better indication. I'll talk with you soon. Welcome back. Yesterday was a bit of a lost cause. We had pretty much rained all day, and it was an absolute quagmire in here this morning. So today's being Monday, the first of my, I've taken a full week off basically, and a little bit of last week to try to get all this slab poured. But obviously when you open up the ground, comes the rain. So I've had a good reasonable day this morning. Cleaned out this footing, started my edge boards, my internal lost formwork edge boards. So I'm going to spin the camera around and we'll have a quick look. So cleaned out this footing now, ready for, well, I've cleaned it out enough just to let it dry out a little bit. I'll probably have to scrape a little bit of the loose clay off the top of it just prior to putting the steel in. Here's the edge board, quite deep down that end as you can see. But I've allowed myself, I've got a 450 wide concrete footing. I've gone that little bit extra. So it doesn't matter about a bit of extra concrete inside here, but I'd much rather it be more than less. But here it is, it's going really well. I'm just going to turn the camera and take it over here and you'll see how the edge is going to work. So just down here you can see this is pretty much the same height. This is a little bit lower. It's better to be a little bit lower because when the underside of the slab comes through, we have to taper the edge of the beam off anyway. You can't make a right angle, a sharp right angle. It's got to sort of go a little bit of a 45 degrees, if that makes sense. But what I'll do from here is every one of these little uprights through here, there'll be a piece of wire coming back to a dynabolt in the ground midway as well. All this will be tie wired back with some fairly substantial wire just to give this some brace. Now, some bracing. As you fill this up, that's when when this formwork is at its most vulnerable. But if you do it in small bites of a cherry, compact it a little bit and do it and make sure this doesn't move, it's only really got to hold itself in spot until the concrete pours, because it'll push against the back of this formwork, if that makes sense. So you've got the two compressing against each other. So at the moment it's going really well. I'm going to start the section over here now. I'm going to come through to this line and finish off at about here at the moment, because I want to allow the bobcat to get around and come through here and put that pile in. If I don't allow him enough room to put that pile in, I'll be pulling formwork down. At the moment he can come from the outside to do these 1, 2 and 3. I'm not doing any formwork down that side, which is really good. It's only just these two sides here and a little bit over here, a little bit at the front. So that's it. It's going extremely well. This is sort of day one. I sort of thought about 3 days to form it all up. I've done that in a day. A little bit of work, not too much. Probably not so much of a day, but maybe about 4.5 hours. I'll finish off the day through this back section here, and then I'll just film that process after that. Okay, corner is now complete, ready for bracing off with some wire. What will happen with the wire is that each one of these star pickets, I've got them around about that far centres, we're putting 2 rows of wire back to a dynabolt in the concrete, so one about this height and one about midway. Now the star pickets are belted into the ground probably that much, so it can't kick out the bottom, it can only fall over at the top. So once that's wired off all the way through here back to this concrete slab below, because that still hasn't been touched, I can start to backfill. I'll probably backfill to about maybe close to perhaps there, and then I'll import some proper recycled, very good clean recycled concrete, which will just take over and give us a really nice level surface to work to. Most of this fill over here can be used, apart from tree roots, apart from broken bits of pipe and everything. The terracotta pipe will be okay. broken concrete will be okay, but all the tree roots and any of the grass cuttings and that out. You know, things like this you really don't want to have in there, so you know they will go. But we'll hose it in after all that, get rid of the voids, and it should be fairly close to being ready by maybe 2 or 3 days. Tomorrow I'll just have another short day to do some form work, get ready for this side pieces to go in, and then I'll backfill the top up there with some stones rather than doing the tin, and start to bring some fill across. Bobcat here, not tomorrow but the next day, maybe tomorrow, to start cleaning up, drill the holes. We're on fire. Talk with you all soon. Hi, and welcome back. Well, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve today with all of the lost formwork. I've managed to get the whole site set out now, ready to backfill. So when the Bobcat's here tomorrow, pending weather of course, cleaning out all the yard and also core drilling the piles, we'll clean through all this leftover material that came out of the footing area, clean it all of tree roots, old dead grass or plastic pipes or anything like that, and then use it as backfill inside here. Just these braces in wire that I've put on here, I've just sprayed them yellow. There's nothing's worse than either tripping over one as you're filling, or worst case scenario breaking one by standing on it, and then you've got to dig up all your spoil again and redo it again. So recapping, 3 sides are all completed. Bobcat here tomorrow pending weather of course, so I'm pretty much at a standstill now. There's no way in the world I'm going to dig all this by hand and put it into here. You know, the Bobcat's going to take half an hour to clean through it all and put it in a big pile in the middle here, and then I can just sort through it that way. It's easier just to push around the place than it is to lug like little buckets. I'm a bit muddy. These boots are mine. I've got about 2 inches of mud on the bottom of them. I've got absolutely no idea how women walk in stilettos, because I look like a 18-month-old kid walking in a nappy, or a diaper as you call it in America, you know, like that, full of poo. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna close off today. I might have a well-deserved beer, I think, and that's it for the day. I'll talk with you all soon. Just to close off this video, really can't do much now until this rain stops, so I might just close this one off and post it through the week. But everything's pretty much set out. Just got that small piece to do across there, then backfill to that line all the way around. And there's the supervisor Bailey down there. Clean up the site. Bobcat did a little bit yesterday, but it was just too it's turning into a mud pile. So over there, if you look, those undulations in the ground, the deep was just sunk. I'll just go over there and have a quick look. And it just sunk. So until this water dries off and goes, I really can't do much until it dries. Anyway, we'll close this one off. I hope you enjoy, and next video should be at least up to the external formwork stage, to here and here. Steel through, backfill nicely, and it'll actually start looking like a slab. So talk with you all soon.